Oh, I don't know. I haven't restarted my computer. So actually, I like this image, and since I hadn't restarted, but let's see. All right, it was a slow website as well. So we can load. Here we go. All right. He just asked her out on their first date. I wonder, they were going to the movies together, right? We're just kids. Probably the first date of his life. Stuffed toy platypus. Well, I suppose if you look at it from the right angle... No, not really. Never mind. What the heck were you doing there? No, Donner says I'm not. Oh, so it's... The report went through quite fast, and I suppose, yeah, the stranger. You're completely gone. What the heck were you doing there, dude? What? I asked her out. No, that was pathetic. Rude kid. No, Donner says I am, however, still new. Such a noob. Such a noob. Wait, was that what you meant? We were all noobs at one point, I suppose. And we are noobs at something. Everybody always. No, that was pathetic. Well, maybe not always. I feel that that's it's a good goal to have, a good lifestyle to have. Try to aim to be noob at stuff. Exactly. The moment you stop being a noob is the moment you stop learning. I'm a lifelong noob. Always new. Says Snowrunner. Right? Nice. Well, not always. There is a... It depends on the context as well, right? You can... Like, for example, all my Linux stuff that you've been helping me out with. There I am, the noob, but you're the pros. Right? Just helping me out. So in that context, you are not the noob, I am the noob. And you are the pro, the teacher, whatever. But yeah, like always having the goal to be the noob. Trying to be noobs at different situations, in different contexts, every week, at least. I think it's pretty good. Colgate on Tab says, even if you're not a noob in everything, you can still learn more about them. Yeah, actually, yeah. Noob is like a complete beginner, right? That's what the noob is all about. So... Like you reach intermediary. Oh fuck. You reach another level. You go from noobdom to something else, but you're still learning, right? But then within, like a subcategory within. Like I'm intermediate in Linux, perhaps. But I'm a Gen 2 noob. Maybe that makes sense? No Donner says, but there's other people that make me look like a noob. It's all in your frame of reference. Yes. Right. Some categories and yeah. Big difference between not noob and knowing everything about a subject. Wait. There's a big difference between being a not noob and knowing everything about... Yeah, knowing everything about the subject, that seems like an unreachable goal. One can try and have a good time trying, but it's a mistake thinking that you can reach that point, I suppose. yeah, there's a whole scale of knowledge, right? But it depends. Like, that becomes an epistemological question, right? Are we counting knowledge as pieces? Like, you have this specific piece of knowledge, this specific piece of know-how. If we make it countable, then every piece is different, right? And then every single new item that you learn, you're a noob when learning that single item, which would make you a noob all the time. But that's very narrow viewing, right? And also not very helpful, like semantically, pragmatically, when we're talking to each other, communicatively. That doesn't really help a lot, I suppose. Nodon says it doesn't matter if you label yourself as a noob or not. Oh, right, the label. It's good point, Nodrunner. Semantically, the moment that you think that you know it all is when you stop seeking knowledge, and that is the issue, right? That was why you call yourself a lifelong noob, because you're trying to always seek knowledge. Yeah, I like that. So however you want to call it, the label doesn't really matter. You're a seeker of knowledge. And I find myself being the same. Kindred spirits. Spirits, ooh. Weird fucking word, isn't it? If I were you, I would have just barged in there and be all like, "You're not me, though. Hey, you, go out. Meet you now." That's just terrible. I know. And it would have still been better than what you just did. Oh, that sucks, dude. Let's see. Colgatinotab says you can still seek other knowledge. Yeah, exactly. You can always seek new knowledge. There's new stuff to learn. You mean know it all? Then I agree. Right. What do you mean, that last statement, Colgatinotab? You mean know it all? That you can't know it all, right? Then you agree. You can know a lot. You can learn. Did she throw an encyclopedia in your face, huh? Did she? Did she? Shut up, dude. See? I'm not the only one who tells people to shut up. And suddenly, I feel loved. It's interesting how there are many like terms and words and concepts that we just... like most people know what you're talking about, but as soon as you try to define it, it's just super fucking elusive. Like the word knowledge. And all the words implied, like learning and teaching and all that stuff. We know what it means, but as soon as we try to define knowledge, it's like... it becomes super fucking difficult. Epistemology is... Actually, let's just make the point more poignant. Epistemology. Epistemology, from the Greek knowledge, is the branch of philosophy concerned with knowledge. Epistemology studies the nature, origin, and scope of knowledge. Epistemic justification, the rationality of belief, and various related issues. Epistemology is considered one of the four main branches, right, of philosophy, along with ethics, logic, and metaphysics. Right? I hadn't really thought about dividing them into that, but sure, I can agree with that. We do it a little bit differently in uni. think epistemology goes together. We call it theoretical and practical philosophy, right? So like epistemology and metaphysics go hand in hand, while ethics and politics and stuff like that is its own thing. And all of them are using the methodology, right? This is the systematic study. Like epistemology is a topic, ethics is a topic, metaphysics is a topic, logic, it's a methodology. It's a little bit different from the other ones, I suppose. Colgatinotype, as if someone is omniscient, they don't learn. Yeah, exactly. Well, if someone believes they are omniscient, they will stop learning as well. I mean, if they are omniscient, then they will stop learning, but that's an abstract idea, I guess. Node says at a certain threshold, you know enough to realize you know nothing. Yes, exactly. There is this thing, you start learning and you think you know. You learn like, oh, I understand this. And then the further you get, it's like, it becomes more confusing. No, says maybe one day after we figure out how to levitate. Oh, actually, I know, it's a knack, it's a trick. You just throw yourself at the ground and miss. That's how you do it. Well, that's not really levitating though, that's flying. When we figure that out, we can start using telepathy and language will no longer be needed. But language is an abstraction, he said. Yeah. Well, telepathy would still be some kind of language, I think. Colgatinotab says genius. Yeah, no, right. Just miss. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just throw yourself at the ground and miss. Voila. I mean, it would still be, I think, like, telepathy would still be some kind of language. Maybe, I mean, maybe you could just copy your exact experience and thoughts that you have, like your entire mind. But that would probably not be a levitating thing. That would probably be when we're completely integrated with computers, right? If you're completely integrated, you can copy your state of mind with all your history, right? The way you think, and just show that to someone else, like an exact replica of your thoughts. With all your current memories and... oh man, what a trip. How does levitating help with telepathy? It's magic. All the magic. Nodonner says yes. Wonder to what? Epistemology is considered, debates in epistemology is generally clustered in 4 core areas. 4 of them. The philosophical analysis of the nature of knowledge and the conditions required for belief to constitute knowledge, such as truth and justification. And of course, truth is super fucking elusive, which makes, right, the distinction between belief and knowledge super fucking weird. So that is just like a derivation of the problem of truth and the problem of justification, right? True justified belief is a lot of what they say knowledge is, right? Some people say that, at least. That's a metaphysical aspect, I think, yeah. Potential sources of knowledge and justified belief, such as perception, reason, memory, and testimony. Yeah. All these are fucking untrustworthy. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm a firm proponent of, well, you have empiricism, you have rationality, and you have pragmatic view. If you mesh them all together, that is the best source for knowledge in my mind. I have justifications for that belief. The structure of a body of knowledge or justified belief, including whether all justified beliefs must be derived from justified foundational beliefs. What is foundational? Foundationalism concerns philosophical theories of knowledge resting upon justified belief or some secure foundation of certainty. Ooh. But the only certainties that we have is that I have an experience and something exists outside of me that gives rise to that experience. That I interpret and have an experience about. I don't know how to put it in proper words, but something like that, right? Aren't those the only like secure foundations of knowledge? That I am having experiences and something exists outside of me that I am experiencing. Right? I'm pretty sure that are the only... Actually, that's quite interesting. That's a fucking rabbit hole, though. Like, you see, that's just what I wanted to show, really, that epistemology is a fucking rabbit hole because it's an amalgamation of talking about truth and justification. Both of them are rabbit holes. Then we have foundational beliefs. Oh, that's justification, right? So we have the truth, we have the justification. Right. Or it has to, if it has to be coherent? Wait. That's fucking weird. And then we have skepticism, which is questions the possibility of knowledge altogether. Which is actually the most helpful thing we can learn about epistemology if we want to like construct a personal worldview. It's about we don't fucking know, man. Like I started out saying, we all know what learning and knowledge is. Well, we have some view of it, so we don't know what knowledge is, but we have a guess. We have something that works in the layman's terms. For now, since it's all just a mishmash. And, I mean, skepticism is widely accepted, right? The problem of, well, is it a problem? What skepticism says is that you don't fucking know. You only see an interpretation of the outer world, so you don't fucking know. And that is what you have to accept, right? You don't fucking know. Possibility of knowledge related problems such as whether skepticism poses a threat to our ordinary knowledge claims. I say it doesn't. Just take a pragmatic approach and it doesn't. I mean, it does and it doesn't, if that makes sense. And whether it is possible to refute skeptical arguments. That is an interesting discussion, though. Is it possible? So far, nobody has managed to, as far as I know. And I'm guessing if somebody would like figure this out and say, oh, I have a refutation, I think it would probably be big news. Because that's a world, I mean, yeah, that's a world-defining thing. It's like finding aliens, right? Something like that. That would be big fucking news. Blasphemous asks, are there multiple truths, or would it be deeper levels of understanding? Well, yes. There are different interpretations of truth. Right, we have these fucking difficult, all of these different theories of what truth is, but we also have the layman turn, like, I am gonna drink some water. Or, I'm gonna drink some milk. Like, that type of truth is super fucking simple. That's usually the term that we use, that type of truth, when it's the subjective truth, right? Whether I am telling the truth or not. That is not really... That is just part of life in our discussions, but that is not the issue that they discuss here. But that... Maybe that wasn't what you meant, but that is multiple truths. Would it be deeper levels of understanding? Actually, I don't quite understand what you meant there. What would be deeper levels of understanding? Oh, like... from my point of view, from how I view truth. And that was like I said, we have pragmatism, we have... Actually, they don't end up here. It's part pragmatism, and it's also part... Like, it's science, right? That's how I view, like, if we want to view statements about the world. Not statements, whether I did something or did not do something, but like knowledge and talking about actual... So Newtonian physics, I would be considered to be truthful. Like, well, actually, then the word truth actually becomes kinda... But like, let's say the statement, it is true that stuff that is just dropped accelerate in 9.8 Newton. Fuck, I don't remember. I'm not a physics person. But you see, I would consider that a truthful statement about the world. But deeper... Actually, I wouldn't even say deeper levels of understanding. I would say something like different frames of reference. Because, like, if you take another frame of reference, they are not falling... Well, they're dragged towards each other, I suppose, would be what they said. But I mean, that's the whole point of... That's why we don't really talk about... Why scientists don't really talk about truths. They talk about facts. And facts are a specific methodology to justify some beliefs. And that is... I like facts rather than truths, I suppose. Maybe this is just a dumb question. I mean, truth is so absolute in its... I mean, it's in the day-to-day use, truth makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm drinking water, I'm drinking milk. That makes a lot of sense. But, you know, talking about explaining how the world works in that... Since, as we've said, like, we don't fucking know. The more we learn, the more we understand that, the less we understand. Like, all of these things it just becomes confusing. So maybe truth is... It's not a helpful word within philosophy. Maybe facts is way more useful as a term. What about when facts can be manipulated either way you say what you want? Facts can be manipulated. Well, manipulated. They can be disputed, and I mean, facts are observations that enough people agree upon, right? So that's empiricism, right? Empiricism leads to facts. Like, gravity is a fact of how this world works. The fact itself, how do you mean it can be manipulated? Either way to say what you want. Oh, right. Are you talking about ethics then? Are you moving from facts towards ethics that you can... Like, for example, I've used this example many times. Someone can say, well, we see here, it's clear as day. The more ice cream that is being sold, the more people are drowning. That is a fact, right? That is a fact. So then they can manipulate and fiddle with the semantics of the thing and say, therefore, we must forbid ice cream. Is that the kind of manipulation that you mean, Blasphemous? He said that so if enough people believe something, then it becomes a fact, even if it isn't true. Yes, exactly. That is. But facts are generated through... I mean, facts is a part of... Actually, let me double check that. That is a part of... In my definition, how I see facts is something that... A fact is an occurrence in the real world. Yeah. Something that has been observed by enough people. The usual test for a statement of fact is verifiability. Exactly. You try to verify. That is, whether it can be demonstrated to correspond to experience. Standard reference works are often used to check facts. Scientific facts are verified by repeatable, careful observation or measurement by experiments or by other means. And I mean, many of these, the facts that we live by, have holes in them. But it's the best explanation we have so far. I mean, this is what we see happening, and like enough people agree that this is what we see happening. And those things may not be true in that sense, right? Yeah, for example, I can see a lot of people falling for the example I gave before. I mean, it is, well... Actually, I don't know if enough people believe. Well, facts follow a methodology, right? If enough people follow this methodology and come to the same conclusion, and that, I mean, that it would be a belief, yes. It's not... here we go. Like scientific facts, I'm focused in on that, right? You don't get that's not the methodology you use when you read the Bible. So what you get from the Bible are not facts. But a lot of religious people, well, any religious text, they can feel like they're getting truths. Like we can get truths from literary works like this. We can learn something about how the world works by reading a bunch of lies, because none of this actually happened, right? Like stories, narratives they are not true. They're telling a story to elicit some sort of response in us. But there can be, we can generate our own truths from literature, if that makes sense. But yeah, it is... I do have a pragmatic sense towards facts. So if enough people says something, then that is the fact. But I would also differentiate, I would make an important distinction between facts and opinions. Like I said, the fact is that when the sales of ice cream increases, so does the number of drownings. That is a fact. That it's not a very confusing fact at all. But it can be misrepresented, because some people can make the error of thinking correlation is the same thing as causation. Like the ice cream are causing people to drown, And that's not the case. It's just ice cream sales increase during the summer, and drownings increase during the summer. It's just a correlation. So believing that we should stop selling ice creams, that's an opinion. And that's something completely different. And that's the whole point of Hume's guillotine. He said these two different statements, these two different things, like facts that are is statements about the world, right? It is summer. Something like that. But I don't, like, we should stop selling, like, ought is. Some are ought statements, some are is statements. And those two are not joinable in any way. Not really. You can't derive an ought from an is. That just doesn't, it's not possible. Not without in the middle here is a value judgment. The ought requires a value judgment about the is. If that makes sense. Colgate InnoTab says forest fires cause ice cream sales, which cause drownings. Oh, they're correlated with. They are all correlated, not caused. They're all correlated with each other. As forest fires increases, so does ice cream sales, as well as drownings, because all of them happens at summer. Blasphemous says, yes, good word there. It is difficult for me to read news with the amount of opinions that is being passed as actual news and facts. Yeah, I mean, it's a common mistake to make. And that is one of the reasons that I react to when people say that is right. Because like in a moral discussion, like murder is wrong. Wrong is a value judgment in this context. Therefore, the word is. Murder cannot be wrong. As a part of what murder is. The definition of murder cannot include any wrongness or goodness or badness to it. That is not possible as far as philosophers know to this day. And that's another thing that would be huge fucking news. If someone solved Hume's guillotine, that would be huge fucking news. Colgate InnoTab says, causation doesn't exist. It is all works of monads, which work independent of each other. Fine, it's all monads. It's all gonads all the way down. Go down on the monads. Wait. Phrasing. And I mean, that's one reason why I practice this. I practice these two things that we've got, and they are super fucking connected. They are very fucking similar. We've got Hume's guillotine. Here we go. We got this. The is-ought problem. You cannot derive an ought from an is. That's simply it. No good responses on it. And that is super fucking close to the other sharp thing, which is Occam's razor. No, actually, well, they are similar. They're not about the same things. Just don't make an ass out of you and me. That is what they say. Try and not make an ass out of you and me. Here we go. What is Hume's guillotine? Asks Colgate InnoTab. Oh, I thought we've talked about this before. Alright, it's a problem in philosophy. And it simply says this. Any is statement you make, you cannot derive an ought statement from. That is probably it. There's no way to do it. Like you can say... fact value distinction. Exactly. It's what I've just been talking about. It's it's closely related to the fact value. But yeah, ought is ethical statements, right? You can make statements about the world that are ought statements. People ought not murder, right? That's an ought statement. You cannot say murder is bad. Those are two different things. You cannot say, like, you can say people are hurt by murders. You can say that is effect of the world. But that does not follow that murders ought not be done. Right? Because you need a value judgment in between the is and the ought. Murder causes pain. I don't like pain, therefore we ought not have murders. Ought is should. You should not murder. People should not murder. Ought should. It's pretty much the same, I think. Yeah. People should not murder other people. That's it. That is an ought statement. People ought not murder. But there's always, to bridge the gap between an is statement and an ought and a should statement, you always need to make a personal value judgment. You have to have some opinion to bridge the gap. You look at some part of the world and you will say, I don't like that part of the world. And that is the is-ought problem. And the consequence is that there is no objective morality. There are no true should statements. There are no factual should statements. There's only personal opinions. So, yeah. And considering that is why I feel it's super important that people, something that, like a political change that I would like to see in the world is more studying of ethics. People making up their own mind of what they ought and ought not do. Because not thinking about this, you just follow along. Like, a lot of people believe that you can, like, every time you say murder is wrong, you're not following along with Hume's guillotine. You're breaking Hume's guillotine. And philosophically, you're not allowed to do that, because it does not make sense. Do you understand? Going without wearing a mask is inconsiderate. Inconsiderate is a value judgment. I feel that it is inconsiderate. Well, you see, you're driving, right? There is an assumption in there, hiding. I can't really put my finger on it. Here we go. Going without a mask might infect more people. That is a fact, right? It might infect more people. Well, the more people that goes without masks, the more people will get infected. That is the fact. And your opinion is that you don't want more people to get infected. And therefore, you feel that the behavior that people should wear masks, if that makes sense, Blasphemous. So saying that it is inconsiderate breaks the is-ought problem. Because there's always a personal value judgment in there. There is no objective morality. There is no God-given morality. morality is a human invention. And we all have our own ideas. Like, that statement is people can easily disagree with that statement. Going out without a mask is super considerate. People, like the people who goes without masks, they don't believe that. Some of them might not believe the fact, right? That people will get infected. Some have that. But others that goes without masks, they believe, they have the fact that, well, people will get infected. I don't fucking care. Some people have that attitude, right? Blasphemous says, that goes back to the issue yesterday, where we are not given alternative ways to live. Yes, yeah, good point. Yeah, it goes back to that indeed. Right. That's the whole point why I argue for inclusivity. Right? Like having an inclusive society that allows people to figure this stuff out for themselves and not telling people. Like, we can't tell people that this is bad or this is... Philosophically, we have no ground to stand on, if that makes sense. When you allow... But then again, the allow thing is something that a society makes. Yeah. That power comes from the top. It's generated by the bottom, but it comes from the top, right? That power does not come from... When you allow people to live in other ways, there will always be people that are upset about it. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that at all. I think people get upset when they feel treated unfairly. And I think structuring society in a way where you and your neighbors can have completely different lifestyles, paying different amounts of taxes and all that, it's super fucking difficult to organize in that way. So I guess that for a long time, for the foreseeable future, during our lifetimes, people will get upset because they will feel that they are treated unfairly by society. People will feel that. But I don't see it as an impossibility to... I mean, there's a scale, I suppose. There's a scale. And I mean, it's either way, whatever you do. It's not even when you allow people to live in other ways. If everybody has to live the same way, there's a lot of fucking people that will be upset about that. Right? Like, you are upset in the way we live now, and because people are not allowed to live in different ways. The same will go for other people that, like, some people want diversity, other people want homogeny. Yeah. That is, yeah, you probably have a point there. So, and that's super fucking interesting. We've talked about that before, that becomes an argument for actual segregation within a society. And not top-down segregation, but bottom-up segregation. That people who wants to have a certain lifestyle, we should segregate and put those people together, and people who wants another type of lifestyle, we should put them together. And somehow try to organize society in a way that these two groups of people will not start fighting each other over the whatever border we have. Like, we can have one city functioning in one way and another city functioning in another way. for example, or village or whatever, you know? And people can move back and forth between these. And of course, we don't have to have extremist cities. Not all cities have to be like this. Not everybody has to be segregated. A lot of people don't want to be segregated, right? Some people wants to be segregated. Just catering to all of these things are fucking difficult. But I think it's a worthwhile goal trying to do that instead of saying everybody should live in one specific way, which usually, like if you go to the political extremists, the ideologues, if you go to any ideologue, the ideologue believes that everybody should live the way that the ideologue feel that they want to live like, because they mistakenly in their own mind believe that their opinions is the way to live. They think that it's a fact that this is the best way to live. And then everybody who disagrees with their opinions are stupid, because they have this idea in their head that their opinions, they make this mistake. I believe. I'm not so sure. It could be just a straw man from my side. I don't know. I believe that is a lot what happens. For example, stores that want to let people in without masks then get cancelled by those that want everyone to wear a mask. Yeah, exactly. Well, you can't really, oh man, you could do that store by store basis, right? Within a city, that type of segregation. You can have stores where we allow masks, and we can have stores where we don't allow masks. We can have public spaces. Well, you see and immediately it becomes clear that, well, what about public transport? Do we have two different systems of public transport? And I mean, as I said, it becomes super fucking difficult, but I'm thinking that is probably the best goal in trying to organize society, to try to give everybody what the fuck they want. But then again, we would need way more political power to make those types of changes. Stores want people to let in people without masks, then get cancelled by those that want everybody to wear a mask. Yeah, exactly. That's people who believe, they make that mistake. They believe that their opinions are correct and that everybody should live like them. That's ideologues for you. It doesn't matter which political ideology you follow or if it's a religious ideology. It does not matter. If you're an ideologue, you have this. If you're an ideologue, right, you have this idea of this is what a perfect human looks like. Fuck everybody else. Everybody else. Let's just fuck them. And if you let ideologues, like extreme ideologues, takes over, what happens? You start murdering people that does not fit this mold. Like that's what happened in communist Soviet. That's what happened in Nazi Germany. There were a lot of ideologues that got into power, and we had a lot of ideologues just making this is what a perfect person looks like. Everybody else can fucking die. Yes, that is what we want. Yeah. We would need people to be more tolerant of each other. I mean, not necessarily. That's why I say it becomes an argument of segregation, right? People who don't like other people because of the way they look, because of the way they live, because of the way they behave, we segregate those people. Like, a homophobe don't want gays all around them. And the gays don't want homophobes all around them. We separate them. Isn't that the solution? doesn't that have to be the solution? Well, actually, no. And I'm not saying what I mean there. What I say is that we allow them to separate. We allow the homophobes not to be surrounded by gays, and we allow the gays not to be surrounded by homophobes. That type of structure. And as I said, super fucking difficult to organize. We would need way more political power. We would need people to be way more involved in political decisions. And that's like it's an abstract goal that I have. It's not something that one could change during our lifetimes or the next generation or the generation after that. It's just an attitude, something to work towards, I suppose. If that makes sense. Because people are not tolerant towards each other. Not in our day and age. Maybe they will become in the future, but I mean, right now, right here, people are easily divided. Yeah, I mean, people have different opinions. People have different emotional responses to things. People care about some questions more than other questions. That makes sense? So divisions just happen. And I mean, you could probably divide them from a top-down perspective as well, but that seems like a mistake. It seems like a mistake. It seems separating people from the top down. Divide and conquer. There you go. That's a strategy, right? The ethics of that strategy, I don't know. Blasphemous says, yes, divide and conquer. So I feel like, yes, it is easy to divide people, but that's because we are divided. We have like just your instinct on any political question I ask. You will have a reaction and an opinion on that. Like someone said, they're like assholes, right? Everybody has an opinion. And you will have opinions that differ fundamentally in its fundamental bits and pieces. Like, what is truth? You will have fundamental disagreements with people on that very question. That's part of what being human is. So we are divided just by being people. Leonardo da Vinci trained by drawing eggs. Barrels are like very big eggs. Therefore, you will all be very big Da Vincis. Oh, that's so fun. Talking about logical fallacies. Correlation versus causation. Right? This thing just made that mistake. Correlation, causation mistake. That's so fun. Colgate into Ab says, I think only phobes have a problem there. Why would gay care whether they are surrounded by homophobes unless they are homophobes? I mean, I would care. Like, if someone fundamentally really dislikes me for whatever reason, then I would not want to be near that person. I would want that person to leave me alone. And I would want to leave that person alone. I would want them to get the fuck away from me. You can move to a different village. Just leave me alone. Just by the nature of you hating or disliking or being afraid of me. It doesn't matter. If you don't like me for any reason, I would not want you to. I mean, we would just piss each other off, right? I mean, I'm painting a little bit of a black and white picture here, and I want to I want to point that out again. I'm not looking for a complete black and white segregation, no interaction kind of thing. That's not what I'm looking for. It's using the extremist versions of that. Like there's, as you say, like some phobes, like homophobes. I don't even know. Do they have phobia or is it hatred? I mean, there's many different ways you can become a bigot, right? But you can dislike people for whatever reason. You make a categorical judgment about people. I think that's a mistake. But some people do that. They don't judge individuals. They base their knowledge on an individual based on whatever group they are part of. And they say, I don't like this group. And I mean, that's just what happens. And I mean, they see themselves as enemies, right? Ideologues often see everybody else as enemies. They have the perfect person here, and then they have people far off that explanation. I'm pretty sure that they... I mean, I'm making an assumption here, but I would assume that most gays, maybe not all of them, maybe not even most gays, but like a majority of them, over 50% is my guess, would not want to. Well, and that doesn't matter. We can say there could be 5% of the gays really don't like homophobes. They don't want to be around homophobes. It's still valuable, right? Maybe if you want to call them phobes, that's fine. If they don't want to hang around with bigots. I mean, I'm not gay, but I still would probably not try to live among a lot of homophobes, if that makes sense. I don't have to be gay for that. Colgate Tab says, I've been around people who found me scary. Didn't even notice before they said it after they got over their fears. Oof, yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind people being scared of me. I mean, that's a power trip, probably. Oh, actually. Have you ever had that experience? Holy shit. Where you're out at night walking, and then there's a woman walking 20 meters in front of you. It's all dark. It's just you, just her. And you get this feeling, fuck. Is she afraid that I'm following her right now? Fuck. What should I do? Should I take a turn? Should I go the other way around? Just afraid of scaring people. I've had that. That's kind of fucked up, isn't it? And Blasphemous has a very good point here. He says, what then happens when people are separated and after a while they decide they want to end the people they don't like? Exactly. That's one of the big difficulties. Big fucking difficulty, right? No. That's not what I said, Blasphemous. I had this internal monologue. Wait, what if I'm scaring this woman? What if she gets afraid? Because I know a lot of women gets afraid alone at night when they're followed by men, that they are gonna be raped or whatever. Like, I've been afraid of getting mugged, walking around, being followed by a group of people. I've been afraid that I've been followed by a group of people just laughing. I was afraid that they were laughing at me. It's just irrational, right? It just happens in the mind. Not that they are actually laughing at me or people actually being scared of me. It's just an internal monologue kind of bullshit kind of thing. Hey Suj shows up. Oh, hello, Hey Suj. How are you feeling today? Nice to see you again. Judgment really kills human relationships. How do you mean? Judgment kills human relationships? I mean, you can judge someone to be awesome. That would be good for the relationship, wouldn't it? Hey Suj. Colgatinotap said, you just said, yeah. And that's when you pointed out that I just said that I wouldn't want him around you. Then when you gave that example, I thought an extra moment about it and said, well, maybe that not so much. People hating me, those people I would not want around me. People afraid of me, that's... maybe I don't care. Maybe I don't care enough to be bothered either way, I think. I would want people not to be afraid of me. Well, some people I would want to be afraid of me, I suppose. It depends on who the people are. Isuj says, and then you look more suspect in the process of trying to make her more comfortable. Alright, that's the fear, right? Fear? What should I do? And then you don't know, wait, is my gait, like your steps, funny walks? Can I walk less threateningly? And then you just look weird and scare her off? Oh man, that's so fucked up. Wait, Blasphemous said I meant Colgate. Wait, I'm confused here. Ah, people are scared of you, asked Blasphemous. I mean, people are scared of people. It happens, I suppose. Let's see. Right, that's... people are scared of Colgate. That's what Blasphemous meant. Colgate says... Colgate Inotab says... only people who don't know me and are prejudicial based on looks. They look a bit scary, I suppose. Looks like a proper metalhead. Sometimes. Depends on the situation. Although I think they are... there is any objective scary look. Maybe like super muscular. Like someone who could crush you with their pinky. Couldn't that be like an objective scary look? Maybe no. It's not objective. Blasphemous say, I like the 9 Inch Nails song, I'm Afraid of Americans. Oh, I haven't heard that one. It's weird. I mean, that's painting everybody over one single picture, like, not all Americans, I hope. I'm not afraid of all Americans. I'm afraid of some of Americans. I'm afraid of some Swedes. I'm afraid of some of that group and some of this group. I'm afraid of murderers. No, actually, I'm not afraid of murderers. But what am I afraid of? Nazis? Yeah, literal Nazis. I'm afraid of Nazis, I think. Isuj says that people choose to be judgmental instead of perceptive because it's easier and safer. Well, I don't know about choose. I don't know if it's safer either. It's less of an effort, I can agree with. Making snap judgments just based on your emotions instead of thinking it through. Yeah. But I don't know if people are choosing. I think we are emotional creatures at our base. We have emotional reactions. And then what we do with those emotional reactions are people do different things. Some people take some effort and try to figure out what's happening, and some people don't. I don't see any choice in the matter. Not really. It's personality types, I suppose. Blasphemous says they're usually bad at judging too. I mean, most of it is post hoc, right? Most of the judgments we make, the actual judgments, first we have the emotional reaction to whatever. We have an emotional reaction, then we act on that emotional reaction, and then after the fact we say, well, I acted in this way because of this and that and that, and those are rationalizations. The judgments themselves are... Maybe the judgments are more involved. Actually, I'm not. I'm confused now. I'm confused. It's only natural. Everything is natural. Everything that exists in nature is natural. This thing is natural. It exists in nature. Stuffs that aren't natural are Santa Claus, unicorns, gods. Those things are not natural, but everything else that exists in nature is part of nature, no? Not being perspective is not very safe, says Colgate in on tap. I mean, it depends on the situation, right? I think we're talking about perspective in the sense of introspection, right? Thinking about your emotional reactions and stuff like that. If you face an angry, hungry lion, then just standing around and thinking, I wonder, how does this do? That type of reaction you want. Act. Don't think, act. So it depends. And in other situations, like if you're in a puzzle or you're defusing a bomb, don't just click the red or the blue wire. You have to think and figure it out. Which one do I... So I don't think there's... It all depends on the situation. So perspective or perceptive or perspective. Oh, right. Those are two different things. Perceptive is being attentive, noticing stuff, right? And those can be noticing, well, that can be two different things as well. You can notice a snake on the path, or you can notice someone's feelings, someone being more and more angry, and you're being perceptive of them being more and more angry, and you continuing your current path. Well, it's similar types, so being perceptive is probably always a good idea. It's probably always good for safety, while having many different perspectives can go either way, I suppose. Hey, Suj. Good looking out. Two different words indeed. John says, "Dear Lord, I can't believe you got me to take this stupid class." Oh, come on, it's fun. Only if you can paint. Look at them. Not wanting to learn. You'll get good if you practice, you know. Exactly. Yeah, right. After this class, I'm never picking up a brush again. Quit complaining. I'm sure you'll learn to enjoy it someday. Why do we have to draw stupid barrels anyway? Wait, did he start enjoy painting? I don't think so. Oh man, this was a big fucking place. Anyone? Anyone at all? Isn't the friend here? Alright then. River, why don't you answer it? I know you know the answer. We're waiting, River. Fine, I guess we'll have to... He made sail on August 3rd of 1492 from the Spanish city of Palos de la Frontera, which was founded in 1322 and granted to Alvar Perez de Guzman, who was at the mere age of 14 by the... Okay, I only asked for the date. But see, was that so hard? Oof. Good lord, does everyone with her condition have a near photographic memory? Not really. I think their rote memory is often fairly strong. What is rote memory? Rote learning is a memorization technique based on repetition. The idea is that one will be able to quickly recall the meaning of the material the more one repeats it. I'm terrible at rote memory. Terrible. I'll get to tabs. One is about noticing stuff around. Yes. That's perceptive with the C. Perspective is looking from different, like metaphorically looking from different angles, different perspectives. You can see it from this side and you can see it from this side. You can take a utilitarianistic approach to a dilemma, right? Or you can take, I don't know, the golden rule approach. Two different perspectives. Blasphemous says, I am INTJ. Oh fuck, I did those. I forget them. What is INTJ again? I think let's see. Architect. Introverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. Maybe I'm that as well? Fuck, I don't remember. I've usually gone the big five approach. Find that more... Find these to be confusing. It's just like they try to fit them all together. I would rather take the five different and have them be more vague. I mean, this is all vague as well, of course. I'm definitely I. Intuitive, I don't know. Thinking, yes. Judging, probably. I don't remember. Took that test too and I got INTP. Maybe I am INTP. What's that? Perceiving. Yeah, fuck, I don't remember. Was one of them. One of them. Colgate in tab says, yeah, I meant perceptive. Wait. Yeah, not being perceptive is not very safe. Yes. I imagined that you meant that. I'm not very perceptive. I'm an individualist and reductionist, so I think I like the big five better. Big five. Whoop. Oh. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And also these have to be contextualized as well, right? Like in philosophical and discussions and building worldviews and stuff like that, I'm super high in openness, right? Like most of us that end up here are, because we like these type of discussions. But in new experiences, like jumping out of planes and stuff, no, fuck that, man. That's not me. Like I have an intellectual curiosity. I don't have a very creative imagination, no. Like, so it's like a bigger kind of, like, and it's the same with INTP, right? By all the characteristics here. Like I end up in, actually they gave me a test like this And I was actually surprised because I've seen myself as an introvert for a long time, but like I ended up in the far end on the introversion. I pretty much as far out on the bell curve as you can be on introversion. And I feel like, well, in these type of discussions, like I'm open to philosophical discussions. In those, I am in the forefront of the social situation, right? Well, in like weddings and stuff like that, you probably won't even notice me. I'm hiding in the corner. Conscientiousness, nope. Not at all. Not super bad at it, but kind of bad at it, like midpoint, like some standard deviations out. Not the worst, but a bit bad. Agreeable, probably somewhere along the middle. Not significant either way. Not super friendly or compassionate or respectful to others, I think. And kinda a little bit too high for my tastes on the neuroticism scale. I'm quite neurotic. Blasphemous says, yeah, I'm not for adventuring, but for figuring stuff out through experience. Yeah. Suj says, I'm usually described as an introverted extrovert. Exactly. I mean, that's what I said. Like, it's just an umbrella term, but it depends on situation, right? You can be. Suj says, because how the fuck does that work? It depends on the situation, right? In some situations, you gain energy from being like interacted with, while in some other situations it drains your energy, right? That's the definition of extroversion and introversion nowadays. Like they talk about your energy levels. For me, talking about interesting pseudo philosophy gives me energy when I do that with people, while celebrating someone's wedding just drains my energy. That makes sense. Colgate on tap says, I think that means you don't exist. Yeah, you're not real. I'm sorry. You'll have to just vanish in a puff of logic now. Condolences. Blasphemous says, if you feel free to speak, you can be more extroverted. I'm pretty sure that's not the way they define extroversion anymore. I'm pretty sure they do. Do you gain energy? Like, just because you're introverted does not necessarily mean you're shy. Shyness and introversion, sure, there is a correlation, but it's not necessary. Like, I'm not super shy, even though I'm quite introverted in many situations, if that makes sense. If you have to small talk and feel like you're doing nothing, right? If you have to small talk and you feel like you're doing nothing, then you can be more introverted. Yes, that's more like it, yeah. Small talk, oof. That's not my type of talk. Suj says, damn, Colgate on tap, that's crazy. Thanks for letting me know. Breaking cogito ergo sum. Think, therefore I am. Well, I think the modern interpretation would be not I think, therefore I am. It would be something more along the lines of I experience. I am an experiencing creature. That would probably the way to put it in modern terms. Modern interpretation of the I think, therefore I am. Or yeah, I am an experiencing creature, and that cannot be doubted. Something like that. So that's one of the things. One of the two things that you cannot doubt. Colgatinotab says, no, people are cryptic sometimes. Glad to help interpret their words. Wait, what do you mean, Colgatinotab? Oh, people are cryptic. Oh, right. Introverted extrovert. That is cryptic. Indeed. I thought it meant I think I am, therefore I am. Well, the whole why Descartes within philosophy, why he became so famous, was his methodology that was new for that time. And his methodology, like philosophical methodology, was that just one of doubt. So he started doubting. What can I doubt? I can doubt the sky is real, I can doubt the world is real, I can actually doubt this hand is real. This can all be an illusion, like a brain in a vat kind of thing. The only thing that Descartes said that I can't doubt is that I am here. That I am doubting. But then modern interpretations of that, a little more modernized versions, would say that, well, the I, the ego or whatever, could be doubted somehow. And that the only thing that you cannot doubt is that there is an experience. Right? Maybe you want to put the I in there, but the experience cannot be doubted. So that's the methodology, like, and that's the cogito ergo sum. So cogito is like thinking, therefore is-ing. Cogito ergo sum. Something like that, right? Thinking, therefore aming. Being. There we go. Thinking, therefore being. Something like that. So yeah. It's not because I'm thinking I am, it's because I am experiencing the world. You cannot doubt that your own experience that's happening right now, because that doesn't work out. Right? You are real. Well, you feel real. That's something that cannot be doubted. Right? That's kind of the cogito ergo sum deal. And then wait a couple of 100 years, and then an addition to that was made by Immanuel Kant, who said that, well, you also cannot doubt that whatever you experience is something from without. Like, if you're a brain in a vat that connected to electrodes, the vat is still real. The electrode is still real. There is something giving rise to whatever you are experiencing. So there is something out there. There is something outside of you, and there is something inside of you. And that is as far as my actual knowledge of philosophy in that matter goes. I haven't gone any further, but I'm pretty sure that most philosophers agree on those 2 points. That those two things cannot be doubted. It's not allowed within philosophy. I think. Hey Suj says, that makes sense. Yeah, one would hope. Otherwise the philosophers wouldn't do a very good job, would they? If it didn't make sense. Oh. Well, some philosophy doesn't, right? It doesn't have to be logical necessarily. Maybe not. Like there's philosophy in art, like the aesthetics. They study aesthetics, and that's all fucking weird. I don't know. Not really. I think their rote memory is often fairly strong. I mean, often, perhaps. I don't know. I don't have any stats on this matter. Just anecdotal stuff. Nothing in here? Nope. So let's go to the next classroom. Are they gonna be in here too? Yeah. Niklas, psst, she's coming this way. Alt tab, alt tab. Receive note, alt tab. Alt tab? Alright, I'll press alt tab. Nothing happens. Damn window users. But I do actually use Super Shift tab. I can use user Shift tab. And then I can use Super. It's called Super, right? Yeah? super tab. But then it becomes super small. That's weird. Colgate InnoTab asks... Oh, what just happened? I'm becoming worse and worse at keeping the time. Like go back like a month, then I left at 12 o'clock every day. Like the last 2 weeks, I haven't left on time a single time, I don't think. Maybe 1 or 2 times. I'm terrible. So yeah, late lunch today. But thanks for looking out. Colgate InnoTab. Time to fix some lunch. Alright. Let's see. Hey Suj said, do you agree that everything falls under psychology? Well, no. Wait. How do you mean? Well, before I leave, what do you mean by that, Hey Suj? Everything falls under psychology? Blasphemous. Control tab for browser tabs. Yes. If you use Firefox. And I'm using Firefox. Did I save? Let's save again. There we go. And exit game. Man, I love this picture. Colgate InnoTab says, I use Super J, Super K, Super Escapes, Super 129 to move between stuff. Yeah. Because everything we know is within our own understanding. Well, no. Psychology, I would consider, is the study of actually mostly man, like humans. I don't think we have well, we care about other animals as well. I'm thinking Pavlovian stuff, and we use mice for a lot of things to do comparisons. So, what is it? Emotions, behaviors, and cognitions. That is within the realm of psychology. Right? Gravity is not within the realm of psychology. Perception is within the realm of psychology. If that makes sense, hey Suj? So no. However, I would say that like within sciences, all science stem from philosophy, however. Like, philosophy is asking questions we don't have the answer to. And when we get a good enough answer to something, we no longer call it philosophy. We then call it science. So part of all sciences is generating hypotheses. And generating a good enough hypothesis, that is philosophy. Right? You don't have to study philosophy, but it's in there. It's part of it, and it stems from. And philosophy itself doesn't mean, I mean, how we think about everything is interesting in psychology. Like, how does philosophy happen? How does meditation happen? How do we do math? All of those things are super important, super interesting within psychology. But it's not about math. It's not about philosophy. It's not about all these things. It's about the human mind and how it does these things. If that makes sense, hey Suj? So the interesting thing is, how do we perceive gravity, not what gravity actually is. If when we're trying to define what gravity actually is, that is in the realm of physics. Colgate InnoTab and Super U and Super Arrow keys. Yeah, I use many different. I use the arrows a lot. Oop. My phone is ringing. Number I don't recognize. That's super interesting. I'll call them up in just a moment. I just want to finish the chat here. I accidentally used my i3WM keyboard shortcuts and it opened to text-to-speech in Windows. Oh, Windows. I haven't actually used Windows in super long ago. But we perceive gravity, so it technically falls under. Well, and that's what I said, Jesus, right? Under psychology, we study the perception of gravity. We don't study gravity in psychology. I mean, and also it would be pointless to do that distinction, because if everything falls under psychology, then the psychology distinction becomes meaningless, because if everything is psychology, then nothing is psychology, right? So the distinction of one is studying doesn't make any sense again. So again, we study like perceptions, we study cognition, we study behavior, we study emotions. Right, and perceptions probably go under cognition, right? Probably. It was a long time ago I read psychology. But there's no room to study gravity when you're studying, say, psychology, except studying the perception of gravity. And that's a completely different thing. The perception of gravity is a completely different thing. It's a completely different type of study. So saying that they are equatable is, you just fall into a lot of problem. It's better to have a clear, I mean, there are many subject things that stretch over different subjects, I suppose, but Colgate in on tap said, blasphemous. Oh, that sounds terrible. How did you end up on a Windows machine? Oh, when I used a virtual machine. Oh, that makes sense. Makes sense. Sometimes you just gotta go, right? Luckily for me, I feel grateful that I don't have to sit on Windows machines. Yeah, I feel grateful. I feel fortunate. I feel happy. But yeah, no, I don't agree at all that it technically falls under psychology. Like, we can actually even check if we take, wait, no, not like that. We check over here and we check. Actually, I want to keep that up. Like, psychology. Probably I agree with this definition. Psychology is the science of mind and behavior. Only mind and behavior. It doesn't say anything about physics here. Well, I mean, we could say that this definition is kind of bad, because stuff falling could be considered a behavior, depending on your. So I would like to add, like, living creatures' behaviors. Yeah, creatures' behaviors. There we go. Or mind's behaviors. Yeah, mind and, like, intentional behavior. There we go. Something like that. And nowhere in that gravity fits. It doesn't fit. You can shoehorn it in there if you like, but that I think that's not a helpful thing to do. I think it's limiting. Yeah, I think that's limiting. But all right, yeah, I gotta call whoever called me right now, and I gotta go have lunch, because 34 minutes ago. All right, so good discussions today again, and cheers for hanging out.